Hi, you're listening to Childless and Moving Onward. This is the place where we talk about thriving in life when you're a woman who is childless, not by choice, regardless of the road that brought you to childlessness. Welcome to episode 61 of Childless and Moving Onward. I'm Gail Miller. I'm a physician, life coach, and speaker. I'm also childless by circumstance and not by choice. The topics of this podcast will vary, but they are always with one thing kept in mind: to bring to light the complexities and the pain of navigating this life of being involuntarily childless. Traveling the path of healing is complex, never easy. And it's also not simple to explain. But if you're looking for support, you'll find it here. Sometimes mixed in with a little bit of humor. I use that to help with my healing. And sometimes it's just a mix of all sorts of emotions, but always meant to bring to light the pain that you're dealing with. And so today's topic is about this pattern of thinking that I noticed of my own a while back, and then talking with others like, okay, I'm not the only one. This is common. And it has to do with the ups and downs of the year, the ups and downs that go along with holidays. Last month in April, again, I realized this last year, but in April, it was kind of like, okay, I realized finally many of us go through this. We finally got through the winter holidays and the triggers that come with that and the pain that come with that. And then April seems to come up as a shock, the April holidays. And then same thing happens, it seems like all year long, there are these periods where we kind of have a lull and feel like, okay, I'm past it and I can get through this. I'm feeling good and nothing's going to get me down, except these natural cycles of life that happen with holidays come up throughout the year. And so that adds to the up and down. Now, we just got through Mother's Day, which for many is the absolute worst day for women who are childless, not by choice. Not for everybody, but for many who are childless and don't want to be, me included, it is the worst holiday of the year. It's the kind of the most difficult day to navigate. It's the one that seems to trigger the most pain, the most in-your-face reminders of the feelings you have to deal with that come with this loss of the dream of motherhood. And of course, it's not just the one day, it's everything leading up to it. And then it's also the period after, where we're seeing all the posts and photos of the wonderful Mother's Days if we don't stay off social media. But we get through it. We each do. And then we think, okay, I can relax now. I've made it through that, right? I've made it through Mother's Day. And now it's June. And with that, at least in the United States, comes Father's Day. So let's talk about that because it's coming up soon. And for many of you, there are a lot of big feelings that surround it. Yeah, me too. But many think, okay, why would Father's Day be a problem for women? It's not Mother's Day, right? And some of you may be feeling triggered, but thinking to yourself, I shouldn't feel this way. Okay, well, there are a lot of reasons why Father's Day can be an issue for many, besides being childless, not by choice. And so many of these issues that can make Father's Day an especially difficult day. Maybe you've lost your father. Maybe you still have your father, but you can't be with him. right? You're living at a distance and can't be there with him. Maybe you still have your father physically, but dementia has set in and he's not the same person anymore. I've been there. I get it. It's your father physically, but the father you knew isn't there. And that's painful. It's also painful if you have a father who doesn't have dementia, is fine, except you have a strained or no relationship with your father. So that's a day that can be especially triggering for you, even if you're not childless, not by choice. But even if you have none of these other things, but you are childless by circumstance, you are a woman who's childless and doesn't want to be, it's another day that can have heightened triggers. It can really bring to the forefront the pain. But it also may come as a surprise, even to you who's going through it, because, well, after all, it's a day about fathers. But that doesn't mean it can't be difficult for women who are involuntarily childless. Now, some of you may be struggling because it's difficult to watch your partner if he is also childless, not by choice, going through this day. Not every couple, some couples, the partner has children or didn't want children. So they're not childless, not by choice. Or maybe they did and now it's like, well, I can't have them, and they've moved on and they no longer consider themselves childless, not by choice. In many, many relationships, that those are the dynamics. For some, it can bring up a refresher of the issues that are between the two of you. If your partner didn't want to have children when you did, or if he has moved on from this and he no longer understands why it's difficult for you. It can be difficult if you are without a partner, but you want one. Because not everybody who's without a partner wants one. And then for some who have a partner, he has kids, but not with you. And just one issue that comes up in this situation is that it's a reminder of what you don't have with your partner. But on top of it, it's a reminder of what someone else did. And it's difficult on other levels as well. Now, admittedly, for some women who have a partner with kids, you are their mom. They feel like it. You feel like it. You are their only mother figure. Or maybe their biological mom is in the picture, but you have this role that you've all are comfortable with, and you feel like mom as well. But the reality is that so many women with partners who have children don't feel that. In fact, it's been shown that that's the case more often than women feeling as if their partner's kids are their own. If you are in the group that has that relationship with your partner's kids, that's amazing. That's great. If you're not, though, you're not alone. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with you for it. Even with a good relationship with his kids, feeling like an outsider is common. You're not mom. You don't have that bond and you're missing it. Father's Day is often a day of really closely experiencing that, like in your face, that bond that you don't share, and you're left feeling like a complete outsider. So the whole Father's Day thing and the wondering of, well, why does that hurt you, a woman? How can you feel hurt about this? It hurts because it does. There's so many ways that this is triggering. It's a reminder of what you don't have, but that you desperately want. Even for those women who don't have a partner and who don't want one, many of you do want to be moms, but can't be. So many of you are childless not by choice, even though you're not partnerless, without a partner, not by choice. So you feel that sense of loss of the child you want. And even though you were not looking and not wanting a partner, that sense of loss can become stronger on Father's Day. Yes, it's a day for fathers, but that doesn't mean there's something wrong with you if this is triggering or you're struggling with your feelings and thinking it shouldn't have any effect on you. Or for those of you who are listening who are not childless, not by choice, but you're listening because you care about someone who is. If you think this isn't a holiday that should affect your loved one, well, unfortunately for many, many, this is an almost equally difficult, if not just as difficult, day as Mother's Day. So, what do we do about it? Well, to start with, before even talking about strategies for navigating this, if you're thinking there's something wrong with you because it's not about women, stop. Stop judging your reactions, your emotions. Recognize that your emotions are telling you something and that all of your emotions are valid. Begin with that, because beating yourself up, telling yourself you don't have the right to feel badly with this holiday is not helpful at all. So the first part of navigating this is to take care of you. As always, self-care is not selfish. Self-compassion is not selfish. It starts with you and taking care of you. Even for those who have a partner who is also childless, not by choice, if you want to be there for him, you need to take care of yourself. It truly is like the instructions on a plane. In the event of emergency, put your mask on first before trying to help others. Because if you're out of oxygen, you can't help anyone else. You'll be passed out. And it's the same with everything else in life when you're wanting to take care of someone else, and it is the same with Father's Day. If you are not taking care of yourself, if you are putting yourself last, you won't have the energy, whether it's physical, emotional, all of it together. You will not have that energy to be there for your partner. Or maybe you are someone who it's not a partner. You want to be there for your dad. If you want to be able to do that, you have to put your oxygen on first. So you have to take care of you. So sometimes that means saying no to activities or invitations. It's not to hurt someone else. It's to set a boundary and take care of your heart. Take care of your hurt. Now, I know how difficult it is to say no in reality. It's easy to say, if you get hurt, if you go, then, who cares what other people think? Because your hurt matters above all else. But every family dynamic is different. So just saying no and saying, I'm just not going to go, I'm not going to be there for them, for anybody else, because it will be really painful for me. Sometimes with certain family dynamics, that works out worse for you. Because sometimes not going doesn't just mean it will hurt them, but they'll understand, because some families do. Sometimes not going means it will hurt them and there will be repercussions. Not every family is understanding and able to look at it and say, oh, it's okay because we know how painful this is for you and we want you to be okay. Some family dynamics are, we don't care if it's painful for you. That's selfish. So you have to be here. And from that, there are often consequences that are awful. And I'm all too aware of that from personal experience. So I don't ever just say, oh, just say no and don't look back, because it's really a matter of figuring out the balance for you. Meaning the bottom line is, look at which is going to be, I hate to say worse for you instead of better for you. You can look at it either way. But will it be worse for you to go and deal with whatever triggers come up with this get together and the pain that comes up? Or if you don't go, will the fallout from that be worse? Will the pain be worse? And nobody knows that but you, because everybody's family situation is different. The dynamics are all different. The people and how they view the relationships, each one is different. So it's easy to say, who cares? Because if they cared about you, they'd see that your hurt matters. Yeah, they should, but that doesn't always happen. The reality is that so many of you know that that doesn't fly with some relationships, and the aftermath can be absolutely awful. So sometimes it is a matter of going, because dealing with those triggers and that pain will be less difficult in the long run. Maybe your answer to invitations and family plans is to go, but be there only for part of it. Go late, leave early. Set the boundary beforehand, that you will be there because you want to be there with them, for them. But you have other events going on, other needs. You don't have to explain. If they're not going to be understanding of your hurt and they're going to consider it selfish because you will take some time to take care of yourself, you don't have to explain that to them. Set the boundary ahead of time that you need to, I'll be late because, I have something else going on. I have something else to take care of. You have you to take care of. Or I need to leave early because I have something else to take care of. Again, you don't have to explain. Or maybe it's not even that you're going for part of the time just to soothe the tensions and avoid the situation where they're getting angry and there's consequences because you won't go. Maybe it's you want to be there, but for part of it, because maybe the whole thing, being there the whole time, will be overwhelming. So plan ahead to be there for the part that works for you, and take the rest of the time that you need to comfort your own heart. Another good strategy is just to create your own traditions for the holiday, just as you can for any holiday. So embrace new traditions for yourself, or if it's for you as a part of a couple. And maybe that means doing something special for you with your partner. Maybe it means doing something special for you and your dad alone without the rest of the family, if that's overwhelming. But you have the freedom to choose how you participate instead of following what society and your family expects of you. There's no should. In fact, this is the time to let that should go. So think outside the box. Just because your family always gets together for brunch at X restaurant or at your brother's house, that doesn't mean you can't do something alone with your dad. If that gives you meaning, maybe for breakfast, and then you go for part of the brunch. Or if it's something that works out okay with your dynamics, don't go at all for the brunch. But look at new ways to build different traditions that work for you and also allow you to honor whoever is the father figure in your life who you want to honor. Now, the next part is for those of you who have partners who have kids, but also this strategy that can be used for others as well. But this is a really challenging day for many of you who have partners who have kids. Now, again, some of you may really feel like his kids are yours, and that has been an established relationship. You are mom to them, they are your kids, and you feel it. Many don't. As I said earlier, it's actually, there are studies that are specific to stepmom situations that have shown the majority of women in that stepmom role don't have the feeling that his kids are yours, and it's biologic. Even when you have a good relationship with your stepkids, you know they're not yours. You don't have that feeling, and you know it intellectually, and it's usually shown to you in many different ways. You don't have the same rights, even in situations that affect you. Many of you have to stay silent. And then there's the bond between your partner and his kids that is really highlighted on Father's Day, and it can bring up such an outsider feeling. And that is particularly painful if you wanted biological kids of your own. I see you. I am you. It's a tough day. It's the highlighted reminder yet again of what you don't have. And it's such an isolating feeling as you watch that bond that you won't ever have, that you don't ever get to share. It's the always on the outside looking in feeling. I truly get you. I am there with you every year. Yes, I have a positive relationship with my husband's kids. And yes, the day is also indescribably painful to me and lonely. For some, there's the desire to be there for him. And then for some, you don't have that feeling, and that's okay too. Feelings can't be forced. And it's especially hard to feel like you should be there for him when oftentimes there's that struggle between the two of you where you're expected to fill the mom role of stepmom, but at the same time you're also always very clear that you're the step, and with that comes no rights. So it's not something that can be forced, that desire to be there for him, when in many stepmom families, he's not there for you to navigate that challenging role. But for those of you who do feel that desire, you want to be there for him on his day, it can still hurt you. You can still feel hurt. And at the same time, you can also be there for yourself because your own well-being depends on it. This is a great situation to use the strategy of being there for plans for part of the day, if possible. Like sometimes there's plans that, you plan a day of activities that are at a distance, right? We've done a couple years different activities that were like a couple hours away. So I couldn't go there late and leave early. So it's not always possible to do a part of the day, celebration. Part of the day I'll be there with him and his kids. But if it's possible, if those are situations where, yeah, I'll meet you guys later, or I'll be there at the start, but I'm going to leave early. If that is a possibility, that can actually be a really good thing for his kids, because then they have time with just him. And for many situations, it's a much needed strategy. And then for those situations where your relationship with his kids isn't a positive one, it's actually a highly effective strategy for everybody's sake, right? You and his kids get time apart, and they get alone time with dad. You then get alone time to be there for yourself as well, and to be away from, honestly, sometimes they're very toxic situations. So again, it's a way of being there for him, but still taking care of you. If that's not a possibility, like I said, sometimes the plans are at a distance, and going late or leaving early it doesn't work. Then make a plan for yourself for the next day or sometime in the week after, to take care, that is solely dedicated to taking care of you, giving you a treat. Don't just say you'll do it. Actually think about it ahead of time. Make a plan. This is what I need. This is what I want to do. This is what will give me some pleasure, some joy. This is how I'm going to do it. Find the time, put it in your calendar, block it out, say no to everything else, and give yourself the time you need. And so that's not a strategy just for those who have partners with kids, where you're not able to find the time on Father's Day to be away from this. That can be used for any woman who is childless, not by choice, dealing with Father's Day. If participating in only one part of the day's activities isn't something is not an option for whatever reason, and you won't have time for yourself that day, then make absolutely certain that you have another time planned just for yourself and for your well-being. You're not just taking care of yourself on, that future day. It's giving you something to look forward to on Father's Day. And that's a strategy I have used in those situations where, okay, I can't get away for part of this because, again, we're at a distance. Or when my dad was alive, I wanted to be there with him for part of the day. And then I also wanted to be there for my husband on Father's Day. And there just wasn't a time during the day that I could take for myself. And so I would plan ahead, make my plans. This is what I'm going to do to celebrate me, to give myself some care, to give myself a treat. I'd plan that ahead, and I would block the time, and I would make sure that I took part in it. That is available to anyone. Okay, so now as Father's Day gets closer, just remember, there's nothing wrong with you for finding this triggering, even though it's a day for men. Your feelings matter. The pain of being involuntarily childless, it's complex. The triggers can be nuanced, and the healing is especially complex. But here's what you need to remember. Always, 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 always. 1, you matter. 2, you're not alone. Each of our paths to childlessness is different, but in the end, the pain from it is pain. Take the time to nurture yourself in whatever way feels best for you. All right, that's it for today. I'll be back with you next week. Thanks for tuning in to Childless and Moving Onward. I hope you enjoyed today's episode as much as I enjoyed bringing it to you. If you liked what you heard, don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. You can stay up to date on everything I do by following me on Instagram at Childless Path Onward or on Facebook and YouTube at Path Onward. Until next time, thanks again.